After my spiritual awakening in 2008, I have mastered living in the present moment for 16 years. And I will share one most important lesson that will help you live in the present moment permanently. It consists of one myth and revelation of one truth. But before going into that, let me answer one question. The question is, why can some people attain enlightenment and live permanently in the present moment while others are stuck in suffering even after a spiritual awakening, oscillating between anxiety about the future and regrets of the past? Why? You see, because people realize spiritual awakening in two ways. The one is a rare event when the person is fully enlightened. We can call it enlightenment. And the other is a gradual process that most of us need to go through, accompanied by the dark night of the soul. We can call it spiritual awakening. So two processes, enlightenment and spiritual awakening. In spiritual awakening, as the mind's conditioning is not completely dissolved, it pulls us in an unconscious state frequently, and that's why the journey from spiritual awakening to enlightenment takes time. During my initial years of spiritual awakening, my mind tricked me into one myth that made a living in the present moment a curse. What was that myth? The myth is living in the present moment is keeping the attention outside of yourself while attending to outer people and circumstances in a focused way, and relishing all mind's pleasure by being fully focusing on it. This is the myth. Now, the truth is, engrossing your mind in a focused way with outer affairs of life is not living in the present moment. It's not. Being in the present moment is not confined to the activities you are currently engaged in. To successfully establish yourself in the present moment, you must surrender inward to being, fixated on the God within. When you're fully surrendered to that inner truth, the thoughts of the past and future will not torture you. When you, the owner of the house, is not present, the thief, that is thoughts of the past and future, can break in and rob you out of the peace. True or not? So why this present moment myth exists? This myth exists as the mind always bends the spiritual truth for its benefit. The mind's continuous desire to hijack your attention outward keeps you from realizing being, that is God, which is ever present and eternal. Our mind's nature is to feel lack all the time. And to feel the lack, the mind wants pleasure and excitement and finds them in these three things. These three things. First is money, second is relationship, third is recognition or fame. Our ego, unobserved mind, will never be satisfied with these three things, as it always wants more and more of them. So when Buddha and other enlightened beings taught us that the present moment is all we have, the mind got terrified, as it thrives on psychological time, which is past and future. The mind's only preoccupation is thinking about the past and the future. So the unconscious mind, ego, bans the spiritual truth of living in the present moment. The mind preoccupies itself in a highly focused way with outside people and circumstances for its benefits, constructing profitable egoic transactions, achieving and accumulating this and that to compete and show to the world. And yes, the mind is doing all this in the present moment by focusing only on the outer aspects of life. It starts relishing all the pleasures of money, profitable relationships, and fame by fully engaging in them. And the world calls this act of mind diligently focusing only on external affairs and relishing in worldly pleasures, living in the present moment. And that is the wrong way of living in the present moment. Now, because of this mind's tendency to continuously focus outside, people suffer a lot. When your outer life situations are full of problems, surrender inward to being and realize a life free of any problems. You don't believe that the state of consciousness, which is totally free of life struggles, is possible. In fact, your mind don't believe that. The primary sickness of humanity is that people are so busy reacting to their life situation, they've forgotten the God that is available in the form of their being. They are so consumed by the regret of the past and anxiety of the future that they forget their presence that is shining as being internally, which established them in the present moment eternally. Being, the present moment, and God are all the same. When I give one-to-one spiritual counseling sessions, all the participants have the same struggle and challenge. Their minds can't live in the present moment and constantly swing between conscious states and unconscious states, unconsciousness and peaceful states. But they all describe the struggle in a very different way as per their life situations. You see, living in the present moment is first realizing divinity within and then engaging with the world from that divinity. First inner side and then outer side. Authentic living in the present moment is the awareness and feeling realization of the inner being. When you become aware of being, the being becomes aware of itself. And when being becomes conscious of itself, that's presence, and only then you will able to establish yourself in the present moment without swinging in the past and the future. You can see this video to learn this one practice that will establish you in the present moment permanently. Inner being is the divine life itself, which has been called God by the world. Once you are aware of being within, you will accept and allow all situation and people outside. You will not create a destructive karmic cycle by involving yourself in dysfunctional life situations and fights. As soon as you forgot the feeling realization of being within, then what is left is the mental concept of the present moment, which only deals with life's external affairs in a focused way. So, living in the present moment is not engrossing your mind in a focused way with outer affairs of life. When your mind is always focused on the outside, even without getting lost in the past or future, its dysfunction of constantly feeling lack and unworthy always remains. Our primary purpose of life on this earth is to awaken, which means losing thousands of years of collective mind conditioning and karmic tendencies of past births. These tendencies are impurities of our minds in the form of unconscious desires, dysfunctional thinking patterns, cultural conditioning, and toxic habits. The greatest question you ask yourself: do your mind's endless desires, thought patterns, and thousands of years of conditioning get dissolved when your mind is constantly outside your inner being in the name of living in the present moment? Does it get dissolved? No, not at all. When your mind attention is always outside, your mind becomes dysfunctional and you go through mental suffering. You see, the mind consists of 5 senses and brain's ability to think and feel emotions. So the mind is 5 senses, thoughts, and feelings. When you rest in your being, you surrender inward all your senses and your ability to think and feel. Hence, your mind is purified from past birth tendencies and thousands of years of collective and cultural conditioning. Once your mind loses this conditioning and tendency, it loves to rest and abide in being, and you attain spiritual awakening. After my non-enduring awakening in August 2008, I wasted years in search of books, gurus, and different kinds of meditation so they could give me a glimpse of my inner reality. But all my attempts failed gloriously. Maybe I was destined by my karma to suffer and realize this truth of resting and abiding in being the hard way. So you see, my suffering is your awakening now. My outer purpose is to guide you on this lonely path of the early stages of spiritual awakening. If you are in a spiritual emergency and want to transform your most significant challenge, you can also take a one-to-one private counseling session with me. All the details are in the description below. And if this video resonates with you, you can download my free ebook, The Courage to Awaken.